Hello and welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News today, 10th April 2026. Equivalent to Islamic calendar, 22nd day of Shawwal, 1447 after Hijrah. I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. In the headlines, Tinubu men soldiers killed in Borno attack. Nakon visit Kaduna Pilgrims Agency comments landmark development at Hajj Transit. David Mark-led EDC asks court to reverse Iran decision. On the international scene, all bank branches in Iran to resume full operations tomorrow. And on sports updates, CAF president rejects corruption claims by Senegal. These and more news will be coming to you in the bulletin. Do stand by. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed deep sadness over the loss of soldiers of the 29 Task Force Brigade Operation Hatinkai, who were killed in a coordinated terrorist attack on their camp in Benishek, Borno State. The president also extended heartfelt condolences to the military and the families of the fallen soldiers, urging them to remain strong in the face of the loss. The defense headquarters confirmed the attack and the casualties, which occurred in the early hours of Thursday. However, the military confirmed that a few soldiers were killed during the encounter but did not disclose their identities. In a statement signed by his spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu praised the courage and heroism of their troops, noting that they fought to repel the terrorists and prevent Boko Haram from overrunning the communities they protect. While mourning the fallen soldiers, the president urged the leadership of the armed forces and troops of the front line not to be discouraged, but to draw strength from the nation's appreciation of their sacrifices. Presidency clarified controversy surrounding the approval of 3.3 trillion planned by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to settle verified legacy debt owed to power generation companies, GenCos, between February 2015 and March 2025. The initiative under the Presidential Power Sector Financial Reforms Program aims to stabilize the power grid and improve electricity supply with 223 billion naira already disposed. It could recall that a statement issued on Sunday by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy by Onanuga stated that implementation of the repayment plan has already begun, with 15 power plants already signed settlement agreement totaling to 2.3 trillion naira. The approval, however, soon generated controversy among GenCos, who asked Tinubu to clarify how the federal government arrived at the reported 3.3 trillion debt, raising over concerns between the figure and reconciled industry records. In response to their demand, a statement by the presidency noted that the debt settlement approval is geared toward addressing financial challenges in the power sector, not a reward beyond service delivery. The government has approved the deployment of a contactless biometric passenger verification system known as VPASS across Nigeria's domestic airports as part of efforts to strengthen aviation security, enhance data integrity, and improve revenue generation. The Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, disclosed this during the signing of the concession agreements at the Ministry's conference room in Abuja. He also explained that the initiative is designed to eliminate discrepancies in passenger data arising from inconsistent airline records, while also addressing unauthorized boarding practices. Keyamo noted that while state identity verification measures are already in place for international travel, the VPASS system extends similar standards to domestic operations. Keyamo commended key stakeholders, particularly the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC) and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) for their roles in advancing the initiative. A landmark report released by Broadcast Media Africa (BMA) reveals a critical paradox in the continent's media landscape. While leadership for artificial intelligence is nearly universal, the structural foundations to support it are lagging significantly. The survey highlights a striking disconnect between executive awareness and organizational readiness. While 94% of media leaders reports familiarity with AI, in where 11% of organizations have a formal AI strategy in place. Furthermore, 65% of respondents admit to having no in-house AI expertise, and 75% report that national regulatory frameworks are either unclear or entirely non-existent. Commenting on the findings, Benjamin Pai, CEO of Broadcast Media Africa, stated that survey clearly shows that far African media ambition currently exceeds architecture. While it's encouraging to see universal engagement with generative tools, the lack of formal policies and in-house expertise creates immaterial risks. On 2026 Hajj, National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, undertook an official inspection visit to the Kaduna State Hajj Transit Camp at Mando as part of effort to assess readiness for the 2026 Hajj operations. A statement signed by Ibrahim Detimak Alfi, Public Relations Officer of the board, said the high-power delegation was led by Sheikh Mohammed bin Osman, Commissioner representing the Northwest Zone. He said he was accompanied by key officials including Malam Yusuf Balele, Kaduna Zonal Director, Umar Kalgo, Northwest Zonal Director, Al-Mustafa Ahmed, Deputy Director, Special Duties, Sheikh Usman Bello, Assistant Director, Kaduna Zonal Office, and Muhammad Ahmed Musa, Principal Information Officer, Kaduna Zonal Office, among others. Speaking after the inspection, Sheikh bin Uthman expressed deep satisfaction with the impressive transformation of the camp, reflecting on his previous visit in 2024 and 2025. He also noted that each visit has revealed remarkable progress and visible commitment to development. Renewed Hope Initiative of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has commenced the distribution of food items to 600 vulnerable residents in Zamfara. The flag-off ceremony held in Gusau marked the beginning of the outreach program aimed at supporting poor and vulnerable households. Remi Tinubu, who was represented at the event by the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shatima, said the initiative is part of the federal government's broader social investment effort to cushion the impact of economic hardship on citizens. She also explained that the Renewed Hope Initiative is designed to provide relief to vulnerable families across Nigeria, particularly those facing economic challenges. The outreach is expected to benefit hundreds of thousands households in the state, with food items distributed to ease their living conditions. The initiative forms part of ongoing interventions targeted at improving the welfare of disadvantaged groups nationwide. The Registrar Bayero University, Kano Haruna Aliyu, has called on staff who recently completed the registry ICT development training to apply their newly acquired skills in ways that will enhance productivity and strengthen service delivery across the university. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of the first batch of the 2026 training program, the registrar emphasized that the value of such capacity building initiatives lies not in participation alone but in practical application. He noted that the growing reliance on digital systems in modern administration makes ICT competence no longer optional but essential for efficiency and improved institutional performance. He urged the participants to demonstrate commitment by translating their training into measurable impact with their respective units. Aliyu also commended the coordinators of the program, Abubakar Kafin Soli and Aliyu Umar Yakase, for their dedication and effective delivery of the training, describing their efforts as critical to the success of the initiative. Yobe State Governor Memala Buni has approved automatic employment for 416 newly graduated nurses and midwives in a bold move to strengthen healthcare delivery in the state. Memala Buni made the announcement at the graduation ceremony of Sheikh Hussein College of Nursing Sciences held in Damaturu, where he was represented by his deputy Edi Barde Gubana. The beneficiaries include 158 community nurses, 196 basic nurses and midwives and 62 high national diploma holders are deployed to boost manpower across the state health sector. When he said the decision target critical personnel shortages, noting that sustained government investment in the college over the past 7 years is already yielding tangible results. Earlier, Provost Hajia Hadiza Sabo disclosed that the college has produced 1,485 graduates between 2019 and 2026 on granted automatic employment, a policy she said has significantly improved recruitment and retention of health professionals in Yobe State. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. Still to come in the news. David Mark-led EDC asked court to reverse INEC decision. On the international scene, all bank branches in Iran to resume full operations tomorrow. And on sports updates, CAF President rejects corruption claims by Senegal. These and more news will be coming to you after this short break. Please stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continues. U.S. Embassy in Abuja has announced the cancellation of all visa appointments, directing applicants to check their emails for details on rescheduled dates. In a notice on Thursday, the embassy said visa operations will continue at the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos. The development comes out after U.S. Department of State authorized non-emergency U.S. government employees and their family members to leave the embassy in Abuja, citing a deteriorating security situation across Nigeria. The advisory classified the overall travel advisory for Nigeria as level 3, reconsider travel, while some states are at level 4, do not travel. Level 4 state that U.S. citizens are urged to avoid include in the North Borno, Jigawa, Kogi, Kwara, Niger, Plateau, Taraba, Yobe, and Northern Adamawa state due to terrorism, crime, and kidnapping. The advisory also listed Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara state, citing arrest, crime, and kidnapping. African Democratic Congress ADC led by David Mark has approached FAI High Court in Abuja, asking it to compel the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to reverse changes made to the party's leadership record on its portal. In a motion and notice filed before Justice Emeka Nwite, the party is seeking an order of mandatory injunction settling aside INEC's decision to remove its National Working Committee (NWC) members from the Commission's record, as well as its refusal to monitor the party's Congress and Convention. The applicants also urged the court to direct INEC to immediately restore and maintain the names of all members of the ECDC's NWC on its portal pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. INEC had on 1st April 2026 removed the names of Mark, National Chairman, Alaof Arebeshola as National Secretary from its official website and portal. When they had sued the ADC Mark Arebeshola, INEC, and Ralph Nwosu as first to fifth defendants, respectively. Nwosu is the former national chairman of the party who stepped down for the Mark-led leadership. On insecurity, residents of Omugo community in Oroago district of Ife-Lodun local government area of Kwara State have raised alarm over the continued captivity of 8 abducted worshippers, revealing that the kidnappers are insisting on over 15 million ransom for their release. The disclosure was made during a press conference by a spokesperson of the community, Olaitan Tajuddin Jimo. He decried the worsening security situation in the community. Newsmen report that the victims were abducted on March 22nd, 2026 during a church service at the Evangelical Church Winning All in Omugu. They also urged the deployment of personnel to a police station reportedly built by the community but yet to be operational, noting that the absence of security presence has left the area vulnerable. In addition, the group advocated the establishment of a joint task force base comprising the Nigerian Army, the Niger Police Force, and the Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps to ensure rapid response and sustained security coverage. Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has dismissed as fake a viral image circulating on social media claiming to show a newly introduced 5,000 naira note featuring the portrait of Bola Tinubu. The image, widely shared online, suggested that the Apex Bank had released the first sample of a 5,000 naira notes featuring the president. However, the CBN debunked that report in a post on its official X handle, warning the public against the misinformation. The circulation of the fake note has also revived discussions about the possible introduction of higher currency. It could be recalled that in 2012, the central bank had announced plans to introduce the 5 naira notes, but the proposal was eventually abandoned in 2022 following public criticism. Moving to the foreign scene, Iran's Bank Coordination Council has announced that all branches across the country will be fully operational from Saturday. That includes bank headquarters in Tehran, the Iran news agency reported. Meanwhile, a social media post by Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Asif, in which he reportedly called Israel a cause for humanity, appears to have been deleted. It follows backlash from Israel, with the office of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling the minister's remark outrageous. This is not a statement that can be tolerated from any government, especially not from one that claims to be a neutral arbiter for peace, the Israel Prime Minister's office said in a social media post. Asif's post on X reportedly accused Israel of killing innocent people across the Middle East. Finally, to sport and scene, President of the Confederation of African Football (CAF) rejected accusations of corruption by Senegalese government after the body struck decision to strip Senegal of its AFCON title and award it to Morocco. Patrick Motsepe, speaking in Morocco, said if anybody wants to initiate legal action alleging that there is corruption in CAF, he doesn't only welcome that but encourage them. Motsepe's visit comes at a particularly tense time for CAF following its surprise decision to overturn Senegal's 1-0 win over host Morocco in the Cup of Nations final on January 18. CAF cited regulations about leaving the fight as recorded a 3-0 victory in Morocco's favor on March 17, 2026. During the match, Senegalese players head coach Pape and his staff walk off the pitch in Rabat after Morocco were awarded added time penalty, which forward Brahim Diaz ultimately means the Senegalese Football Federation had appealed CAF's decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS). Finally, on the list, the top stories again. Tinubu men's soldiers killed in Borno attack. Nakon visit Kaduna Pilgrims Agency, comments landmark development at Hajj Transit. David Mark-led EDC asks court to reverse INEC decision. On the international scene, all bank branches in Iran to resume full operations tomorrow. And on sports updates, CAF president rejects corruption claims by Senegal. On behalf of the production crew led by Fatima Ibrahim Dosara, I am Hamida Muhammad Idris. Thank you for investing your time and staying with the news.